We'll start with the Navkar mantra.
Om Namo Arihantanam. Om Namo Siddhanam. Om Namo Ayariyanam. Om Namo Jayanam. Namo Loe Savasahunam. Eso Panchanamokaro. Sarva Pavapanasano. Mangalanam cha Sarvesim. Padamam Havai Mangalam. Padamam Havai Mangalam.
Thank you for coming this week, and thank you for coming this whole semester. This will be the last class this week because next week I'm out of town. The week after that is Memorial Day weekend, no patsala. And also next week is final exams. There's no final exams for you guys. And the week after that is patsala graduation, which I think is a program on the stage. There's also no graduation for you guys. You never get to graduate dance class.
That's right.
So I really want to, I know that it's very hard to, I don't take it for granted when you guys give me an hour of your time a week, because that allows me to influence your mind and your life and your way of thinking. And to me, that's something very precious, because if I can show you a new way of thinking or new ideas or a new way to look at situations, why that's very valuable to me, because we're all busy, we don't have a lot of time, and it's easy to keep on going the way we've been going, right? It's hard to tell ourselves, well, we need to make a change. I need to change to make my life better. How can I do that? What do I need to do? And so today's going to be an easy week for you guys. I want to talk about the things that went wrong, the things that went right this semester. And it's something I definitely take into account. We did this last semester and we started recording this semester. So it's not like I don't take into account what you think and what you should and what you feel. So let's talk about the things, what do we want to do, wrong or right first? Let's do right first. Okay, so for you guys, what went right this semester?
I think the recording piece really helped.
Yeah.
What we implemented.
Did you access the recording? If, for example, when you missed a week, did
Correct.
you go back and listen
Correct.
to it?
Absolutely. And also something triggers that, oh yeah, we discussed that, let me go back to that.
Right.
So that also,
Right.
we can go back and access that. So
Right. Yeah, I remember in the text, somebody had a question about clean meat, and then I linked the episode of clean meat that we did. Right.
right,
So
correct.
maybe who was that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No, somebody else asked
Right.
who was
Yeah.
not part of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it? Okay.
Who was
So-
not part of the normal classes.
Right.
And
Oh,
they
okay.
asked about that. I think maybe Bunkim or one of the.
Right. Okay. So that's great. So the recording's going right. I know that the quality is, not the best. There's a lot of background noise. I know you got to turn it up in your car or turn it up on your headphones. But until we get a different space, there's nothing I can do about that. The echo's not too bad in here. I think this recording will actually be fine. But there's nothing I can do about that.
Starting next year, meaning August onwards, I
Right.
think we will be in the trailer.
Okay.
So it will even work better because right now you get a lot of noise from the outside.
Right.
So
Right. So the recording went right. That's good. I'm glad that people are listening to it. Well, what else went right?
we cover good topics, a lot of good topics.
Yeah, you like the topic selection?
Yeah.
It's just kind of whatever I've been interested in or whatever I've been
Yeah.
thinking. And of course, we hit the book
Right.
sometimes.
And that's the balance is good because
Right.
we pick something that is what's upcoming in your life,
Right.
and also keep staying it tied back to the books. So I think that balance is pretty very well organized.
Okay, great. So the topics are good. And you can bring this up in the wrong section. If you didn't like the topics, you can talk about
Yeah,
it then.
absolutely.
Yeah. So the topics we went over are rejuvenating our Jain centers, prayer parts 1 and 2, 5 minor vows parts 1 and 2, 6 substances. We talked about Mahavir's life, his
Right.
historical life. And then we started, I think, with types of meditation. Oh no, we might have started with types of karma part 1 and 2.
Right.
So that was this semester. And then before that was last semester. So, hey, how you doing? Easy week this week. We're talking about what went right and wrong.
Okay.
So, and this will be the last class of the summer. Or until the summer.
No exams.
Hi, JJ Nindra.
No exams.
Come on in.
next week.
No exams and no graduation, unfortunately. Hi, that's class? Sure, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have a discussion, yeah. Okay, sure, sure thing. And so, okay, so the recordings went right and the topics went right. So what went wrong in Dad's class this year? Anything that, any discussion that you feel like it could have gone better? Or any advice for next year? Because we started the recording on the advice from last semester. So anything that went right this year, or wrong this year, sorry, or you would like to see implemented?
We need to see how we can have more participation.
Okay, more participation.
Nothing
So maybe
wrong,
advertise.
wrong as such, but
Right.
yeah.
No, that's good. I'm always looking for room for improvement.
So how to have more attendance,
Uh huh.
given that we have at least 15 to 20 of us
Right.
who are doing other things at this time.
So you think we should advertise?
Yeah, advertise, pull in people.
I'll make you bring your friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody
Bring,
brings
each
two
one
friends.
bring one.
Okay, so what if we have an open house type deal and I require everybody to bring one person that hasn't been in
Give me
here?
something.
Yeah.
Then you can, so that might be good. Bring a friend day? Okay, good.
And
What
also
else?
to understand what is it that they feel is not helping them. I mean, if, for example, whoever are regulars, they
Uh-huh.
come in regularly, but then we are not getting, so there could be something missing or not attractive for the rest of the folks for not to come. Either they are not aware or there's something which is, so we could get probably a feedback from them as well.
Okay, so feedback from non-regulars?
Yeah, or have an open house for everybody, meaning
Right.
not the class itself, but just,
Do you think some people are scared to come in?
yeah.
Okay. And then they would come in during an open house and see what we're all about?
Yeah, and get feedback from them to see
Okay.
how better we can organize.
We're talking about what went right and wrong this year. This is the last class this year. You don't get a final exam, but you don't get to graduate.
We just got enrolled, right?
Anybody else or things that we could do to improve this year?
I think what went right is obviously the mix of topics, including practical as well as related to Jainism,
Okay.
and the fact that we also have playtime outside, which is cricket. We
Yeah.
set up really well.
Okay, you enjoyed the cricket time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it's important. Remember, we can't neglect our physical exercise just because Jainism
Right.
tells us our soul is different from the body. But that doesn't mean at this stage, we can ignore the body completely.
And it's good to see the consistency and commitment for the ones that are attending regularly.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that I can't do anything about that. That's you guys.
Yeah, but still, that brings in a different, perspective, good
Right.
discussions, open discussions, and the fact that we are being recorded and shared, that's very helpful too.
Right. And so what about the technology? We've been using the WhatsApp group. Does that still work for everybody? Would you like to switch to something else? Is that a good way to get your notifications?
Yep.
I think so.
Yeah, this one is
Perfect.
Okay, great. So with that, we have a guest speaker this week, and Mihir invited him, so I'll let Mihir take over.
Well, actually, to your point, I think as we all have a responsibility of talking to others and telling them about what we do. And I was happened to talk to Uncle last week,
Mm-hmm.
and he told me that you all should do Swadhyaya. I said, to some extent, that's kind of what we do here in our class. So he was gracious enough to, I think to share his experience, and seems like just as I talked to him last night, he have prepared a lot for this class today. So I'm looking forward to it. And I'll introduce them as Chital's dad. Chital
Right.
is very active in Derasari, as you may know, in Snatra Puja and things like that. So I'm looking forward to please welcome Uncle and look forward to his topic today.
Great. Thank you for coming. The floor is yours.
Is my thanks also. It's my pleasure to be here with all your people. It's the first time I am with all these people. I can understand it's very different than what we are doing normally. The talking to the people, and it is a very formal. It looks here. We are very much informal. We take it as everything comes as a natural way to us. There's some difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will speak in Gujarati, the subject.
Our audience is primarily English, so let's
Yeah.
keep it in English.
But this is what I was, because the subject what I prepared, this language, I can speak English, you can
Sure,
realize.
yeah, let's keep it that way.
Yeah, but problem is that I do not know the exactly terms which are to be converted to English.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, no problem. If you want to use...
This is my problem. And
we can help. We can
inform
help.
and this, and that is, I want to keep it little
Yeah,
that way.
sure.
So you don't mind. Suppose some question in English, I'll able to try to reply in English.
Oh, yeah, we'll need it to be English here.
Yeah,
Our
yeah.
audience is primarily English
Yeah,
speakers.
yeah. What I was thinking, because here Champak Bhai is also coming several times. Champak Bhai Pandit.
Mm-hmm.
You may be aware or no, I do not.
No.
Yeah. Then Srani Bhai Gala. They are highly learned. They are moving all over America.
That's great.
And they are speaking in Gujarati. So what I thought, that normally people here our subject are keeping in Gujarati,
Uh-huh.
maybe. So I kept everything, I prepared the topic in Gujarati.
Oh, I'm so
Of course,
sorry about that.
But this is what Meher is informed. Last evening that we speak in English.
Right, yeah. It'll be a good challenge for you.
I will try, but okay. So let us start. હું ગુજરાતીમાં જ બોલીશ.
Oh, no, we need to try to keep it in English. We have primarily an English-speaking audience. And if not, that's fine. We can do it another time, or maybe a different form is appropriate.
હવે મારો જે સબ્જેક્ટ છે, હવે હું જે વાત કરવા માંગુ છું, let us see કે જો નહીં સમજણ પડે તો I will try to.
Right, yeah, we're not going to understand you.
તમને શું લાગે ગુજરાત?
So, sorry, we are kind of
All English.
we thought from talking to you yesterday that this class was going to be in the main hall. I didn't know that it was part of your dad class as a guest speaker. So I'm sorry if we just intruded in your class. And I understand your difficulty because certain topics are such that the essence of the meaning of those terms only comes out when you speak in that language. And so it doesn't work. We are all here and we are eager because I got a lot of good reference from back home from my cousin, and they insisted that so we cancelled our class to listen to him. So if it doesn't work for your class, we can go to another room and listen to him. If that
Sure,
doesn't
yeah,
work for
and
you.
there's more people listening than just those in this room, too. Our audience is a primarily English-speaking one.
Okay. So you decide.
તો તમને અમે લોકો રેડી છે તમારો લેક્ચર સાંભળવા માટે, તો we can go to another room and
Sure, if this form isn't appropriate, then that's fine.
No, appropriate. મારે તો કઈ વાંધો નથી. I was ready to speak. ભગવાનની ભાષા છે. ભગવાનની વાત કરવાની છે.
Well, I'm sure Bhagwan also speaks English as well.
Yeah. બરાબર છે. એ તો કોઈ વિષય છે ને. મારી એક જ વસ્તુ છે કે મારે જે વસ્તુ કહેવાની છે હું પ્રોપરલી કહી નહીં શકું એમ.
Well, I'm so sorry that it won't work out today then.
That is the only problem. There is no other problem.
Oh, sure, I understand.
Speaking English is.
ચલો આપણે
Let's go to our class.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jai Jinendra. Sure, if anybody would like to, feel free to go ahead. Oh, can you close the door? Okay. So this is one of the things that is remember last week we talked about, or the last time we talked about rejuvenating Jain centers, and there was an essay competition for Jaina. So this is one of the futures that we will be facing, right? a lot of people think that, well, if we want to cater to young people, well, we don't really want to reorient the Jain Center to an English-speaking one, right? Because they think of it as an erosion of culture, right? If you don't speak Gujarati or if you don't speak Hindi, then that kind of is an insult to your culture or the way that your parents grew up or something like that. And I think every Jain Center is going to have to make a decision, you know, whether they want to reorient the religious and the power structures of the Jain Center to accommodate native English speakers or not. And if they don't, I think that then the Jain Center will be in service constantly to first and second generation immigrants. And then one of the reasons we're losing third and fourth generation immigrants is because of things like this that just happened, right? So I think that each Jain Center will have to make a conscious decision whether to do that or not. I don't think that they will. I think that that decision will be forced upon them by demographics, by whoever is attending and not attending. And, you know, it's a problem. It's going to be something that each center will have to face. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if I think of this situation which just happened, if we really want our, as you rightly said, the younger kids and the youth to be part of this community, then it has to be English. Otherwise, of course, the essence would come out in the native language, but then it becomes difficult for folks who don't understand. For example, I don't understand Gujarati, even though I can follow to some extent, but of course I don't understand. So for me to get associated, either it has to be, I think, common language, which is English. So
Right.
And it's not about the third, fourth generation. There are, I'm pretty sure there are I know a lot of South Indian friends who would like to be, because a lot of their gods have similarity to Parshnath or Padmavati. So we have that discussion.
Right.
So if they want to participate, if you want to encourage them to come to participate, you cannot put that language as a barrier for them. So
Right.
they don't understand
Sorry,
Hindi or Gujarati.
I showed up late.
Yeah.
I must have missed something very important in the first 3 minutes. So.
So what happened was we talked about, this is going to be the last class. I'm out of town next week. The week after that is Memorial Day weekend. The week after that is graduation. There's no final exam for us, and there's no graduation. You can never graduate Dad's class. And so we had a guest speaker, which Mihir was kind enough to bring. The guest speaker did not want to speak English, even though our audience is a primarily English-speaking audience. And so that's fine. He can speak whatever language he wants, but we won't be able to understand him, and that's not how this class is going to be run. So the guest speaker is now speaking to Mom's class, which is fine. Yeah, and whoever wants to attend, if you want to attend, that's fine. There's going to be no hard feelings for me. There's no hard feelings for me towards our guest speaker or towards me here or towards Mom class or anybody. And so this is something that I identified as this is going to happen more and more.
So recently I went to Hong Kong, right? Hong Kong has a Jain temple, right? So are you telling me that they're going to need it in Mandarin or Chinese or some other language as well?
Sure.
Is that what you're like?
Absolutely.
Like
The Jain
you're specifically saying English right now, but I'm just saying like
Right.
worldwide. You know, I don't know if you're in
So he said
if you're in Belgium, right? You know, then you speak Dutch or you know.
Absolutely.
cater to demographics. That's
Huh?
what his keyword earlier was cater to demographics.
Yeah.
In this
Right.
case, earlier in the 80s, 90s, you could have done whatever was happening before, but if demographics are changing, where people are not comprehending English, Hindi,
Yeah,
any
yeah.
language, Gujarati or Hindi, then you're gonna have to whatever
Right.
relevance is there. Yeah.
And I think that's true, okay? The truth is the truth, regardless of what language you speak or what language it's taught to you in, okay? So the fact that I don't speak Gujarati or Hindi, that doesn't, do we want to make Jainism inaccessible to me because of that? So, you know, I don't know. And then...
So what does the temple do to mitigate that or help that? I guess mitigate isn't maybe the wrong word, but to encourage that. What do they do?
So the
Right,
phrasing
because-
that I used was we have to reorient the power and religious structures of the center to accommodate native English speakers. We have an English Pratikaman program here that's very popular. It's been going on for years, and the kids love it, Okay, that doesn't mean we don't teach them Gujarati and Hindi. Our Jainism classes are very popular. Unfortunately, when I was growing up, it wasn't there. It was too late, and maybe I should enroll myself now, because I'm losing a lot. Okay, so I am suffering too by not knowing Gujarati and Hindi. Right, I'm suffering spiritually. I'm suffering culturally. Spiritually, there's a lot of these texts that are not accessible to me. Jain text, right? So I'm going through this translation, and I know as well as anybody that you miss something during translations, right? So I'm suffering culturally, right? The richness of the Indian culture is not available to me without mediation, right? So, and I'm suffering daily too. And it's my fault, it's my decision to not learn that.
Well,
And it's my fault.
It's not about your fault. I mean, you just said it wasn't there when you were growing up, so it's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's just a fact of what it is, right?
And
it's
I understand
fault
that
is about something different, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
The
Fault
challenge-
is that it was there and you chose not to
chose
go.
not to do it.
Right.
What I grapple with is teaching Gujarati now, that should I continue to, or is it even important? Is that the essence? But my 2 cents is also about being adaptability, about being accepting it, and about we have a lot of mediators in the room that, okay, from a respect standpoint as well, I've attended enough lectures, even though I may not remember it from before, but almost 90% of the lecturers, they speak in Gujarati, then they also translate in English as to what they means. But for somebody who's unable to do that, but to get the knowledge and the essence, given the situation, there's enough in the room that could have translated it and still could have had a healthy dialogue for the purposes of understanding of what the person has prepared.
right.
So, and the way, just real quick, we teach Gujarati is the basics. I do completely agree with you, even if you tell me, if I know traditional language right up to the T, no, I don't. It's partially my choice, it's partially also lack of time, a lot of other things.
Right.
But the basics, as long as I know, and the likes of the Google Translate or whatever, you can get the essence of it. I don't think it is necessarily 100% lost in translation, especially for a topic that you like and you're wanting to go deeper into it.
Right.
There's many medium available.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And, I know that there are some parts of the Jain Center and some parts of the Jain community that are closed off to me, okay? Because I am a native English speaker. And I understand that. And that's my burden. I'm going to have to suffer that my whole life, okay? But if enough people are similarly situated to me, then that becomes the Jain Center's burden, okay? Not just my own. And so it's something that we're going to have to grapple with if the Jain Center wants to include more than first and second generation people. If they want to include third and fourth generation people, then it's going to have to be different. And we can talk about parallel tracks. We can have a regular pratikaman and an English pratikaman. We can have a regular puja and an English puja. We can talk about how to do it in parallel. We can talk about even how to convert everything to English. And some people are going to be unhappy. Okay, I don't know. I couldn't get a good read on him. Perhaps he was unhappy. I don't know. I know that some people are going to push back. And those people will leave. They'll say, it's an abomination that this puja is being conducted in English. I don't understand this. What are you trying to do? You're trying to split people up. And I'm going to leave if you keep doing this.
So, just talking about that, recently I went to a wedding. And at the end of the wedding, they had an arti. And everyone was going up to do arti, and the DJ was playing the arti. Okay, there was probably like 5 people left. So one of the guys turns to him and says, "Hey, just loop it for another 5 seconds." And he goes, "I don't loop." So what are you talking about? Just like 5 seconds. That's all we need, right? He's like, either you play the whole arti or you don't play it at all.
Right.
You choose.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't loop arti. That's one thing you don't do. Principal DJ, right? I was like, man, this is hardcore,
But when you say that the puja,
so like that goes back to what you were saying, like, do you do all of it? Do you do none of it? Do you do some of it? Do you do it in English? I mean, is there a virtual translation for, I don't know, like prayers and sutras and all of this stuff in English? Like, not like not phonetically English translations, right? I'm
Right.
saying like English words for
Right.
that, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm talking about when the Nokar mantra, when we say it as I bow down to the
Right.
Arihants.
That's what you say.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Rather than, you know.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
But that is what exactly my point was when you say the puja
Some people are going to hate that,
would
okay?
be in
We're going to
English.
turn off some people. If I go into the temple right now and say, in English, I bow down to the Arihants, I bow down to the Siddhas, some people are going to hate that.
Right.
Despite being in the temple, people are going to say, what are you doing? You are eroding the culture that we helped set up. How could you possibly do this? I gave you everything, and now you're twisting it into something else. I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, that was exactly my point. My point was when you say the do the puja in English and all that stuff, you change the mantra as they are pronounced.
Right,
That
right.
is exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because as far as my knowledge goes back when we were kids, we were taught is that saying Namokar mantra. I'm not taking sides, but I was told that the pronunciation of Namokar mantra itself creates peace.
Right.
It's not the meaning of it plus the pronunciation, the voices comes out of doing the mantra. So that's what I'm saying. So if all the literature is in English these days, even the book is in English, but just because you don't, some people, third or fourth generation, cannot understand the meaning of the word, that's why you need to translate the whole mantra in English.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you are saying?
I'm saying that it's a possibility. I'm saying that's why you don't see 20 to 30-year-olds in the Jain Center.
Yeah.
One point, for that matter, Namori Antanam, right? So it's not a pure Gujarati standpoint, it's, I guess origination is from Sanskrit.
Prakrit, right? Prakrit,
Yeah.
then
So
through
we have to
Sanskrit,
understand
then
that
through...
to know the meaning of that in Gujarati also, right?
Right,
Because
right.
just saying that Naukar mantra
Right.
plainly without knowing the meaning of it, someone explains you in Gujarati or English, right? So Gujarati and English in this case it's at the same level, where someone has to explain you the meaning of our Naukar mantra in Gujarati or English.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter if pronunciation is important. That's what I guess to his point.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that was taught to us, that saying Om,
Right.
it's so the meaning of that may not be.
So let me ask you something. Is there anything in the book that supports that argument? Did we learn anything in class? So some people told you, okay, that's fine. Well, we'll depend on their credibility. But is there anything you learned or anything you can think of other than the fact that some people told you that it was important that supports that argument?
Not here, but actually I think the word Om, that is why there are during the meditation and all that stuff in India, they basically play the Om sound because it's
Right.
supposed to bring a lot of harmony and peace inside you, because
Right.
it's just the voice which actually surrounds or orates you.
Right, but that's a special case, right? It either doesn't mean anything or it means everything. It
Right.
means a bunch of different things,
Right.
right? So we're not talking about translating the one word.
Right. Yeah.
So it goes both ways. You got the senior, whatever you're talking about, the senior citizens who come here. If you did it full English, you're gonna
Right, we would turn them
Yeah,
off. They don't know English.
Yeah.
Correct.
And for example, before there was digital age, there was everything was in email, postal mail, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even 5-10 years ago, whenever they tried to email, my mom would say, "Well, I'm not aware of anything," and she still doesn't know how to use email or anything. But
Right.
they're not out of content. I mean, they have no knowledge of what's going on unless they come here physically and they listen to anything going on. So you'll see a lot of the people who are active and whatnot, but the other people who are not coming, they're just not aware of what's going on because they don't get communicate like that. I guess they send it only because of the Constitution about the voting and all that stuff. But anything else, if they don't check email, they don't get emails, they're not aware.
Right.
It's a significant cost. It's a time delay. There's a lot of practical reasons for that, right?
Understood that. Well,
But
whatever you're talking about, right? Either you go English or Gujarati, you're gonna lose some people.
maybe even
At some
Absolutely.
point, there's gonna be.
I understand.
You're right. When demographics are 90% English speaking,
Mm-hmm.
then a 10% will matter. But right now
Yeah.
it's 50-50 now.
Then the center will be serving 10% of the population that it could be.
Maybe they got to be like the UN and everyone gets a headphone. No, I'm serious, right?
It happened before.
Recently, there, there are clubs like that. All right.
Yeah.
Right? They give you headphones and they play 7 different types of music. And you listen to the one that you want, right? I mean, the UN does that for multiple languages, I mean, it's...
I've been to different churches that do that because, as you know, a lot of churches do missionary work,
Yeah.
especially in South American countries. So there's a lot of
Spanish-speaking
Catholics, Spanish-speaking Mormons, and they're wearing headphones, they're getting translated.
Yeah.
And of course, their bishop or their spiritual leader, they speak Spanish, right?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, UN has physical people sitting on the background.
Yeah, no, they have someone like that's
Right.
like when we speak in Mexico at shows and stuff. There's 2 booths. There's an English booth and there's a Spanish booth. And if you know both languages very well, like when you say certain things in English, some kind of smart remark or something,
Right.
it doesn't translate properly.
Of course not, yeah. Play
Right?
on words, or
right?
something,
And so it sounds like, what did he say? Like. They have to repeat it sometimes because the translator is like on the fly. It's not already pre-written for it, right?
Sometimes they say, "Please laugh," because he has made a joke.
Yes.
And I can't tell you the joke. So then they
Unless you are watching Rahul Gandhi's speech and he is translated, so you will laugh by default.
So it could be possible. You would think in today's world that we should be able to do something like that, right? There's someone speaking up outside, aren't there? Right? We should be able to do that. Like we have capable people to go. Probably I don't know how accurately to do it, but we should be able to do it. To the point that if someone wanted to, we should be able to do it.
I actually in the evenings I go to the Krishna temple. So basically they have actually 1 hour of speech. And mostly it's in English, but sometimes they get some gurus from India, they cannot speak English, so there is a person, he's sitting next to him translating in English. So they don't change the mantra, pronunciation in English, everything is written in English, the speeches are done in English, the mode of discussion mostly is English, because they have a lot of kids in that temple, lot of third, fourth, second, third generation kids, lot of kids. Because they make an effort to use English as the medium,
right?
So that everybody can understand. And since the Krishna, I think they have much more variety of people coming, like diversity of people coming there, even some local people. So I think they put an effort that even if there is somebody who cannot speak English, so a person sits next to him to translate to English. So like there are views and there are things everybody can do it, but I totally agree. The language should not create a barrier to have the next generation of kids learning what they are supposed to know. Right. So I totally agree, support that idea. So.
Other thoughts? Been quiet today.
Sometimes in Gujarati, the word dialogues and sentence which we talk in English, it will be not be same.
Of course, I understand that. Yeah,
but that is for every language. Yeah. That is for every. That's what he just said. Yeah. That if you made a joke in Mexico,
you cannot translate in Gujarati or like Gujarati ati log te papnu moje. So if you try to translate that in English,
Okay, so before we started that, I think that was a very nice discussion to have. Before we started that, we were talking about what went right and wrong this semester. I definitely listened to it. That's how we got started recording, is because last semester we said, hey, let's start recording. And so I figured out how to do it, and that's why we have that now. So things that went right this semester.
I think the recording part was good.
Okay, you accessed the recording and you've listened to it?
The days I wasn't here, yeah,
okay.
For sure. I've actually even forwarded it to others.
Okay.
Saying that, hey, check this out.
Oh, that must be why we have 6 YouTube subscribers now.
I'm marketing.
Things that went right. Things that you appreciate.
We did a very difficult food serving this year.
Okay.
It was, it was Chodos that day. We had to come up with a very creative menu that still people remember. Actually, someone reminded me yesterday. They were like, hey, I wasn't there, but I heard it was really good. I was like, wow, yeah.
So that's something we want to continue.
Yeah.
Okay, now how about some people mentioned that they like the list of topics. What do you want to hear about that we did not discuss? I'm just a discussion leader, right? I'm here to stimulate your minds. I'm here to remind you to incorporate Jainism into your life outside of these walls, because that's absolutely the hardest thing to do, is to think about Jainism when we go into our daily life. So what kind of topics would you like to cover?
The mom's class does theirs too, right? And we probably talked about this indirectly, but it may be worth doing a class with them. Maybe if it's something like a yoga class or some other type of co-class, because I'm not sure what they always learn, but this may be other practical ways of doing that.
Correct.
Mhm.
Just
And
like recently, I attended one event. It was family get-together event from Bab's Temple, Swaminarayan Temple, for each region, like Richmond and Sugarland and Missouri City. So they had the Guruji come there, do Aarti, but at the same time, that was towards the end, but it was family get-together.
It's a
You
picnic.
play, and then towards the end there is a Aarti, and then there is a Pravachan. So similarly, some get-together, it will help the branding also in a way.
Right.
Because right now, if we just think Jainism is only Jains are coming, means non-Jains or other, maybe very less people are coming, except for the families, means immediate family members.
So you want a social event that's and advertised such that it's welcoming to non-Jains. Okay.
So that's probably something we probably dropped the ball on. I'll take credit for dropping the ball, Tim. On the, we did the Rockets last year. We did not do that this year.
And I'm sorry I can't make it next week. I'm out of town. I'm in San Antonio. But I hope that everybody has fun.
So going back, like the Rockets would be a good thing, or something like that.
It's considered part of this year, right? If it was done in November, considering fiscal year.
We looked at the game that we wanted to go to. It was crazy expensive. That was what it came down to. And that was already half the season was over by then. So.
And literally in that BAPS event, they knew, they saw, maybe some of them they knew me, but I was new there in their community. So they literally came personally, introduced themselves. They took me to their Gurujis, said they knew whatever, that this is Tejas and he lives here, and then Guruji also said, oh, where are you from, India? So some interaction. So in a way, if you think, I didn't feel that I'm outsider.
Right. Yeah, and that's something that you have to cultivate a culture of that, which is the hardest thing to do, is to change a culture of a place, because it's all of these miniature micro decisions that people make that keep reinforcing that.
And we had close to 200, 300 people, and after the Aarti and Puja, there was snacks, but it was khichdi and buttermilk. And
Right.
it was awesome. So, few people, and next day they had a walkathon in Sugarland downtown, and most of my friends go. I never attended that because Sunday we come here. So the main thing, at least they say there is a good sandwich they give towards the end. That's fine, but even though they are not Swaminarayan followers, but they make sure they do go there, whatever is the reason.
And that's the essence of missionary work, right? You go, if you don't know, let's say, for example, a church goes into a foreign country, sets up roots in a small town, and they're there for a long time. They help poor people, they do volunteer work, and in exchange for that, people come. People say, these people are helping us, well, let me see what they have to say. And that's the kind of the
Mormon mission.
Right, and so that's kind of what you're describing at a little bit lower level, that hey, we're providing something, we want to show you, what is possible, what our message is, and if you don't listen, that's fine. We're gonna keep doing these things in the community.
Yeah, automatic mouth publicity happens. Right?
Right.
See, even right now I'm telling you about.
Right, of course, yeah. Okay, so things you want to improve upon. And that's fine. You can let me know if you didn't like the topics, if you didn't like some aspect, if you don't think you think we start too early, or things you want to improve upon for next semester?
I think that, Mari Jayanti happens every year, right? And during the program that's there, it's primarily a kids program.
Mm-hmm.
I think that needs to be changed.
Okay.
I think there should be a dad skit.
Because it's a Patsala program. That's why it's primarily. We're part of Patsala,
Right.
but
So,
that's why it's primarily a kids. It's not a Jain Center program. Because otherwise, a lot of different people would like to probably get up and do something. But we can take advantage of the fact that we're under Patsala and do something. Get some adult representation in there.
I think that it would encourage the kids to go do it. It would encourage our interaction with them, and it would give you maybe more dads.
Okay.
I'm not even sure.
Yeah,
if
that
all
would
these
be
guys
part
can
of the
dance
advertising.
properly.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be part of our advertising. Okay, so we want to do a skit next year. Skits are generally not
Skit,
well
dance,
received
whatever,
as
whatever.
much as dances and songs, but they're a little bit easier for us.
I'm just saying to take part. I'm not saying what's what.
Right. Okay. So we want to take part in.
And it could be like a dance, like we could be like Pitbull and do like featuring the dads.
Right.
We don't have to do the whole thing. We can just come into maybe the kids thing, at the end or whatever. So
Right. Yeah. Meteor wanted to do something, and so I told him to write a script, and then we didn't get a script. But that's not his fault. Everybody gets busy. But yeah, there is that thought that we maybe should have done something.
I think that the meaning of Dad's Club is to spend time with being a dad, right?
Right.
So that would help in maybe doing that.
Thank you everybody for coming this week. I really appreciate it. I do not take for granted that you come here and give me an hour of your week to help influence your mind, and I really appreciate you coming this semester. Before next semester starts, I will give each one of you a call and encourage you to come, and because the hardest thing to do, it's easy when you come every week to just keep coming every week, right? But then we get a break, and then it's hard to make yourself try to come like, oh, we get an hour. What's them are going to talk about? It's going to be just stuff I heard about before. It's not going to be anything different. I don't want to go. We start making excuses, right? So it's very hard to start again and to get that inertia going. So I'll be giving each one of you a call before classes start again in August and inviting you to come here. And hopefully, like you said, maybe we'll be in the T buildings over there. We'll get a better recording with less background noise. Thank you, everybody, for coming this week.
Thanks to you for putting in all that work.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. It's my pleasure.
Tim spends a lot of time. I don't know if you ever see his notes and stuff, but he must spend a lot of time to do it. I know he's a lawyer, so they're used to writing long stuff and billing someone else back. I'm very aware of that. Unfortunately, he doesn't bill anyone back, but very good job.
Thank you so much.
By the way, you guys go to the other temples.
Right.
What do they do to keep the sanity in the house? Like keep the quiet? What do they do differently? How can we?
First of all, they have a leader.
Okay.
Most of them have a leader or a guru or someone that's there, right?
Okay.
So when the presence of that is there, it automatically solves the thing.
Right.
But even right now, we have some.
No, maybe I'll just add. They have a leader and there is a unity. Maybe I don't know.
That unity comes from the
same thing. It's one provides the other.
Same language, same message goes.
But when the leader is not there in the house.
I'll tell you, so the other temple which I go, it's not as big as Swaminarayan. It's like there are and on a Sunday program, evening program, there are 100 to 150 people. And whenever, basically, because there are 4 identified individuals, like 4 men, 4 women who are basically if one of them is not there, other one will do the arti or something, but they are the one who's holding the microphone. And then I think people, somehow I feel there is a civility, like as soon as somebody stand up with a mic, everybody quiets down.
I don't know how to
Everybody quiets down.
I don't know how to bring it
they
here.
don't have to tell them, please, all that stuff, it doesn't happen.
A lot of that is just discipline in making that happen. But I can take you to 5 different Jain centers and they all have the same problem.
But the other thing
it's not like our Houston Darazar versus something else. I'm just telling you, like in New Jersey, they have the same issue to the point that they won't start the program now until everyone's pinned their up silence, right? Like those type of things.
But
You have to call people's name out to make them understand, right? It's like, hey, Bobby, sit down. Like and maybe someone can do that knows them. But if you don't know them, and you tell someone that, hey, sit down, now they feel bad about it, right? It becomes a different. You're trying to do the right thing, but it becomes different in doing that. During the Marigenti program, I put chairs in front because I was like, I need this much room. I don't know the other way to block it. Right. And then when I moved it, someone came and sat right in front. I'm like, what? I'm sorry, did I miss something? Yeah. And it was just funny. I was like, I don't know how to explain something to someone, So I just make it a joke, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but you can't sit here. But you moved the chair. Can I sit on the chair? I said, no, you can't sit on the chair.
The hardest thing to do is to change a culture. It's when
it's unit. The only way it works is it's this unity, right? Right. It's everyone listening to someone else because they think there's value in listening.
That is the point. That those identified individuals, which I was telling, like people actually, as soon as they stand up to speak, people see now something valuable is gonna come out. So let's sit quiet and listen to them.
The simple things are like, if my kids are performing, obviously I want to record something. But you do not, see people are also sitting in the back whose kids are also performing.
The only way to resolve that is if in-house some recording or something, and then we publish that. But please, again, it will be difficult, but
it's not difficult. It's not difficult. Your daughter's in dance. You're not allowed to take photography at your dance.
Correct.
At your recital, right? I'm a photographer. I like to take my kid's picture, but I don't bring my camera that day. Right? So it works somewhere else. Why wouldn't it work here? Right?
Exactly.
And not only that, but when you get the print is so good it doesn't matter then, right?
Correct. So
so it's listen, man. I mean, the real fact of the matter is that we don't have the infrastructure to go do all of this stuff yet. But once you get the infrastructure and it becomes a lot more organized, if you had theater seating, if you had certain other things,
I think the timetable needs to be very punctual in order to start with, right?
I can give you the best thing in Jain Center, Jain Society of Houston's history. Okay, yesterday was a marking day. You know this? We all had an outing yesterday, and we had to leave at 1 o'clock, and everyone was on the bus to leave at 1 o'clock. But it was history. We left at 1 o'clock. Everyone was there on time. So where there's a will, there's a way.
I think today's session, when I entered, there was a lady there, and she immediately asked me to switch off the phone. When I entered, I found something different. Everybody was, even though the crowd was less, but it was pent-up silence.
No, it's because you can see the age of the people who are sitting there. And it's a less chaotic mode. But the other thing which I feel is that if you have a bigger, because there are a lot of people in a very small space, that is another reason which
we have a lot of echoing. Like we're talking, they're talking next door. Mom's class is there. The kitchen's making food. There's people gossiping in that area.
The big area is not utilized for the majority of the folks. If you see right now, only few folks are sitting, but majority of them are either standing in the kitchen area. We all attending the class.
The new designs at most temples give a social space, I would
call it. And the ceiling is much higher. Actually, I've noticed.
Well, no, they have an entrance that gives viability for people to stand there and talk to someone else, right? Without disturbing other things that are going on, which is fine. I get that point, right? But you don't. We don't have that ability yet. When that comes to us, we'll be able to use that ability, and that will also lead to others coming to the temple. Because there's a mode or a function that allows them to do that.
So how to change a culture, specifically the answer to your question, there are multiple factors that we identified. Number one, infrastructure, we talked about. Number two, spiritual leaders that provide guidance and accountability. Number three, when people realize the benefits of that, when people realize the benefits of being quiet when another person has the mic, then they'll realize that that's what they have to do, and that's how you start to get into an upward spiral or a positive feedback loop of changing the culture. That, oh wait, we know what it was like before, now we're going to do it this way. So just like all hard questions, the answer involves multiple factors. Thanks for coming this week, everyone.
Thank you.
So IPL